Today on the Dad the Best I Can show.
Like, I've played with a lot of celebrities, as I'm sure you have, but I have one that I have nothing but good things to say about, if that's
Please, we would love to hear it, especially if you could name drop for us, because that's really exciting.
Yeah, for sure. By far, the coolest celebrity I ever played with was Bruno Mars.
Hey now, welcome to the Dad the Best I Can show. I'm your host, Rob Roseman. I'm a father to 3 kids. I've got a 6-year-old boy, 4-year-old boy, 1-year-old girl. Woo! Wears me out just thinking about it. We're here to talk to dads like you, hear your stories, your tips, your tricks to help get through the day. All right, let's get on with the show. Today on the show, we are lucky to be joined by a Las Vegas poker pro and a father to 2 kids, ages 9 and 6. Who is it? It's DGAF. What does DGAF mean? Well, that's something you gotta ask him. As a poker player, he tries to maintain some anonymity and mystery, and DGAF is also a pseudonym he uses. Whoa, that's a big word. I had to Google that one. For his prolific poker writing. He's gonna talk to us about what it's like being a professional poker player, his favorite celebrity he's ever played with, the biggest pot he's ever played. Spoiler alert, it did not end well for him. We're also gonna talk about his life as a dad, why carving out time for yourself is so important, and the deep strategy he used when he drafted his 9-year-old daughter's basketball team. All right, let's do it. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being on the Dad the Best I Can show.
Thanks for having me, Rob. It's cool to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a little bit. And like I just told you before we started, I think this is a great concept for a show. So I'm happy for you and excited for you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, we've had some conversations where you've taught me a few things about being a dad, being a poker professional.
Yeah, I think poker players that are dads will be able to relate to a lot, and really anyone that works for themselves or anyone that works overnight will also be able to relate.
We have to give the people what they want, which is, I just moved to Atlanta from Las Vegas, and all everybody wants to talk about is poker, and that the fact that anybody can even be a poker professional is absolutely fascinating. And that's not the case in Vegas, where you're kind of just another poker pro. So it was kind of refreshing moving here, people wanting to hear stories. And I was like, man, I have so many. And of course, as you know, nobody wants to hear bad beat stories. So you got to have a most exciting hand or a celebrity that you played with.
Like, I've played with a lot of celebrities, as I'm sure you have, but I have one that I have nothing but good things to say about, if that's
Please, we would love to hear it, especially if you could name drop for us, because that's really exciting.
Yeah, for sure. By far, the coolest celebrity I ever played with was Bruno Mars. I played with him in LA at the Commerce Casino several times. And he's just like, this was as he was becoming huge, and he's just like someone that you would be friends with. You don't just like him because he's a celebrity. I'm not even like that. I don't get impressed by like famous people. But he's just like the coolest guy, the best vibe. He got it. He would like have a Corona with me at 6 a.m. when they start serving again, and he'd gamble, and he would take pictures for the people that would want pictures. I never went that route. I just let him do his thing. But he was by far the coolest celebrity for him.
That's great. And you like somebody so much more when you have that kind of when you meet somebody at a poker table, you really get to know. Some of them want to hide under glasses and a hat, but like if somebody's cool at the poker table, chances are they're somebody you want to hang out with outside of it.
Yeah. I mean, and he's just very real and very positive, and that stuff comes through in his music, and that's a big part, and like the way he performs, and that's a big part of why he's so successful, is he's just authentic and real.
Nice. So did you get in any crazy hands with him, or do you have other crazy hands to tell about, or are they together?
I don't remember too many hands, but I do remember a hand where maybe there was maybe like 3,000 in the pot, and I had top 2 pair, which is a really good hand, as you know, and he just flicked out a 5K chip, a pink chip, as a bet on the river. And I just called, and he just laughed and like threw his hand away.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun when you don't have to sweat it.
My kids love hearing about that.
Yeah, that's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
And he took it well, I guess. I'm sure he could afford it, but
oh man, yeah. A lot of people that can afford it don't take it well. He took everything well. Yeah, just a good experience. You said you also wanted to talk about like the biggest pot I've played. Is that right?
Oh, I'd love to hear that. See, let me preface this because I played with DGAF for years. I started as a poker pro in Vegas in '07, probably a little after he started. And I played with him, and he's this crazy player that would drink through the night, give action, and like everybody wanted to play with him. And I mean, I'd seen you lose a ton. I've seen you win a ton. I've seen you lose a ton a lot, though. And you had like the greatest table presence that I'd ever seen. And again, I wasn't even sure if you were good or not for a long time. And I had this like Kaiser Soze moment, which is what I always think of you as Kaiser Soze when they from The Usual Suspects, a great movie. I know you're a big movie fan too.
Yeah,
The
I love that movie.
the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. And I had
Right.
this like moment where when they drop the coffee mug and you realize, holy shit, this is the same person. And I couldn't
Yeah.
believe that the person I was playing with this whole time was DGAF, the online poster who would speak like very, just completely different than you were at the table. So just a
Yeah,
just a quick
that was
story
kind of
that
my strategy after a few years on the job.
yeah,
Um,
totally brilliant. And like maybe the greatest part about you is like how you can have these, dual personalities. Props to you. It's like my favorite thing I tell people about is like this person. I couldn't even believe it was the same person. It was amazing.
right. So my first few years as a professional, I was very serious at the table, and like most pros are, and I played very textbook, very solid is what people call it, and I won a lot of money, and but I got a lot of resentment, even though I was very nice and humble. People knew I was very, very good and winning. They could see I was winning a ton of money, and so like in 2008, I just decided I'm not being very smart, like showing up looking like a pro, talking like a pro, acting like
How
a
does a
pro.
pro look for people out there that you would
A
tell them?
pro, with like a hoodie, and like they take a long time in hands, they look serious, they talk about poker if they talk at all, and people don't really like playing with them too much. And I just pivoted and said, I'm going to be all about like having people want to play with me, because I'm not going to look like a pro. I will not look intimidating. I will drink at the table. I will be funny. I will not talk about poker. I will downplay all my abilities, all my results, and to the point where like even other pros don't know if you're a pro or not for years. And meanwhile, I was making a really good living, but I was the only one who knew about it. But around the same time I was playing with Bruno, I was playing in some pretty big games up in LA, and I lost a $70,000 pot
Oh my
where
god!
I was 80% to win when all the money went in. So I basically had pocket ace. It's like if you have pocket aces and someone goes all in before the flop and you call, and there's 70,000 in there.
Wow.
I lost that one to a really cool guy though.
Yeah. And how does that feel when that happens? Does the blood rush from your head, or can you take that? Can you?
I can. Yeah, I don't know if it's like if it's probably not healthy, but like it didn't. I did barely like felt anything.
Wow. Let's take a quick break from DGAF for our dad tip of the week. This week's tip is brought to you by Poker Rags. Get insanely comfortable clothing that is smart, funny, cool, and good for the game at pokerrags.us. Why get your clothes at Poker Rags? Because you can't play poker naked. I like to do on the Dad the Best I Can show a dad tip of the week. Tell us, what's one tip you would tell dads maybe when they're stressed out or think they're the only ones going through this kind of thing?
All right, Rob, my number one tip for dads out there is, I'm sure you have a smartphone, download a breathing app and put it on the front screen of your phone, and set a reminder, a daily reminder. Figure out what time of the day you are usually most stressed out or overwhelmed, and you'll get a reminder to breathe. I set mine for 2 minutes. For me, it's 10 p.m. and 2 minutes. And you don't need it every day, but the reminder goes off. 2 minutes of very focused breathing.
Is it
Yeah.
guided, or is this like there's a voice, or it's just like tells
No,
you to breathe?
so the app I have is called Breathe Deep. It's just it has a nose on the front of it, and when you open it, it's just a circle that says inhale, and it fills up as you inhale, and it takes a lot longer than when you normally breathe. And then it says exhale, and same thing. You exhale as the circle is deflating. All you're doing is looking at your phone and watching the circle fill up and deflate. I do this at the poker table when I need to. Anytime I just feel a little wound up or overwhelmed, I do it. I have my kids do it. It is incredible. And anytime you're not feeling good, your kids are driving you nuts or whatever, do 2 minutes, have your kids do 2 minutes, and you will see like amazing results. And it doesn't mean you have like problems or anything. It doesn't mean you're mentally ill. It's just a very good strategy for everyone.
What's also fascinating about you, who plays all night, is that you're also a dad, just like I am.
Yeah, that's my passion, is being a dad, just like you.
Yeah, so you got 2 kids. How old are they? And
I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. I love them like crazy, and they drive me crazy, which I'm sure is most dads' experience.
yeah.
Just like the most fulfilling thing in life. Just like, but also like the most draining thing in life. So, but definitely, I love it. I love spending time with them. I kind of have a cool balance of, I spend like 4 days with them from when they get out of school till when they go to bed or whatever. And then the other like 3 days I'm in Las Vegas. My kids are in San Diego. So in the other 3 days, I get to be like an adult, like a person,
Mm-hmm.
not just a dad. So I'm kind of lucky in that, I know.
Well, and you've said before too that you think it's really important for dads, and I know I'm guilty of this sometimes, is that you don't carve out time just for you when it's not just your kids or with your wife or your girlfriend or whatever. So speak a little bit about that.
You are raising these two, depending on how many kids you have, you're raising your kids, but you also have to live your life. So it is a balance. And yeah, I found that.
We can forget about it too, because we are, whether you're taking care of your kids or hanging out with your wife, and it's like easy to kind of let yourself slide. And then, like you said, slowly trickles in and you're just annoyed.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like you're actually doing your kids a favor by not giving them all of your time, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
you're going to be
definitely
a much better dad if you get to live your life as well. And so much, and it's probably the same thing, and for sure it's the same thing for moms and dads. They need to help each other out. Like, no, you go do something, I got it, and then we'll switch or whatever. I'm going through divorce, so it's easier for me, but I know that people that are still married, the best relationships I see are where the wife will be like, all right, you go watch the game with your boys, have some drinks, just be safe, get home, and then like make sure you get some sleep, because tomorrow I'm going to do my thing with my girls.
Playing poker professionally, I did this for 10 years, and it's challenging as a dad. There are a lot of benefits to it, but everybody asks me, what is it like? And I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't have my wife and my kids if it weren't for poker, because I wouldn't have moved to Las Vegas. And
Right.
I was around my kids probably a lot more than a lot of dads are because of the flexibility.
You do get to be around them a lot, and you can on a Wednesday during the summer, you can just take them to the beach or something.
How has that worked out for you?
Yeah, so I've already talked about most of the downsides are being tired all the time, a sleep schedule. If you're going to play poker for a living, you kind of did it during the day, but I think I had much higher demands on me financially. And so if you have to really make a lot of money, you have to play overnight. And another humongous thing is that I've supported before I was going through divorce, and still now actually, I supported my wife and my kid health insurance, and it's just incredible if you're self-employed. It's just really high, and then anything happens to one of your kids, it's very expensive. Whereas if you have a normal job, the benefits are usually decent.
And that's probably applicable to people that just run their own business or anything.
Right. Self-employed people. Like my daughter sprained her wrist not too long ago, and the bill is $3,000, and we have insurance. And it's like those things pop up. But getting to the benefits are having a flexible schedule. I've been at every single event. Like I have not missed a first day of school, a opening day of T-ball, anything like that.
You're doing coaching too.
I do. That's a very big passion of mine. I actually have a draft for my daughter's basketball team tonight.
Oh, wow. And, you got a scouting report out there or what?
I do. I have some pretty in-depth strategy.
Watch out. Allison is a ringer. She might be sandbagging tryouts, so watch out.
No, tell me if you think this is evil. My daughter thinks this is evil. So you rank all the players during tryouts, and then there's a girl that follows in like the bottom round, right? Or the bottom 2 rounds. She's just new and small, and she could grow up to be a great basketball player. But for now, she's that. And it says on her thing that her conflict is Tuesdays, which is half of the games are on Tuesdays. So I'm going to draft her knowing that she won't be at half our games. Is that evil or what? She's not going to be there half the time. So like the good players will get to play more. Is that?
I think that's next level. That's why you're a professional poker player. You're thinking you're 9-year-old girls basketball and you're drafting girls based on their lack of availability. Nobody's thinking that. That's amazing. I've seen the sandbagging in tryouts. We don't even send my kid to the tryouts. I mean, soccer, we've learned, is not his sport.
I didn't want to sandbag. I didn't want to do that. I believe in like integrity, and like this is just like, okay, that girl's gonna be on someone's team, so what? And she'll have a great experience on my team, and like I'll get to play my better players more. It works out for everyone.
Yeah. How do you find that? I did basketball coaching for my 5-year-old, and it was tough, man. Like you got maybe 2 kids that can dribble. It's just a zoo. I mean, you're screaming the whole practice. But after it's done, you're exhausted, and it's really fun, and they want to play again. Yeah, I love doing it, but it's hard also.
It is hard. I think like the more you put into it before the season or before the practices, as far as being organized, doing drills that are age appropriate.
Don't wing it, you're saying, like I was doing out there.
Do not wing it. That's stressful. And then my thing with like that is it's not in youth sports, there's no such thing as like too many cooks in the kitchen. As long as you guys are all cooking the same thing, like I have the plan, I have the offense, the defense, the drills. I'm not, I can be flexible, but if anyone wants to help, and parents do want to help, like they're just standing there or sitting there in practice, like what? It's more fun to be on.
Nice. Well, yeah. Tell us a little bit about what else you got going on and where we can find you.
So I have two podcasts. One is the poker podcast, the poker content. It's called Sessions. You search DGAF wherever you get podcasts, you will find it.
Okay.
It's becoming pretty popular amongst poker players and some non-poker players who just like the journey, I guess. I basically just after each session, I just hit record and I just talk about, just a few things about the session, and I download my brain, and it's good for me and other people enjoy it. And then I have another podcast called Solicited Advice Podcast. It's an advice podcast and a mental health podcast. It's kind of, I became friends with a psychiatrist, and I just started learning a bunch about mental health, which was kind of always like a scary topic for me, as I'm sure it is for many, but it's really not after you start learning about it. And our podcast is all about like breaking down those walls of like, you don't need to be scared about this. Every person has some cycle, like something they deal with, whether they get down or they get anxious, or if they have something serious or something not serious. It doesn't matter. Everyone has something they deal with, and we kind of teach the best ways to deal with it. And the first thing everyone should do is breathe. Like that's just the first step.
Yeah, I've listened to it, and your co-host David is excellent. So you're a trained professional on there with you. But I think it is important as guys. My dad is a psychologist, and it's hard to open up to somebody or talk about your problems. So giving people that kind of outlet even if it is just listening to other people talk about their problems, I think that's a great thing you're doing for people. So we appreciate it, and we'll check it out.
All right, cool.
Well, DGAF, I didn't slip up your name once, even though I kind of want to. I might have to add a bleep button just for fun. But thanks for being on the show and talking to other dads out there, and we'll talk soon.
All right, Rob, thanks a lot, and good luck with this. I think it's a great idea.
All right, appreciate it. See ya.
All right, peace.
Thank you guys for listening to the Dad the Best I Can show. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. Actually, 5 stars. We could do better than that. Brooks? Infinity stars. Cameron? How many stars?
Infinity 1,000.
Infinity 1,000. You got to one-up them in this household. Thanks. See ya. Thanks again to our sponsor, Kickstart Reading. At Kickstart Reading, you can watch 2-minute videos with your kid that teach them how to read. It really is that simple. I taught my kid how to read with these videos, and now you can too. Go to kickstartreading.com and use the code DADTHEBEST to get your first month free. kickstartreading.com.